Welcome to the Brad and Taylor Show. Today we have Paul Wolfert with Century21. How's it going, Paul?
It's going awesome.
You're listening to the Brad and Taylor Show, a podcast that inspires entrepreneurs to pursue their passions. We're sitting down with some of the best to learn how they got started and some lessons they learned along the way. Okay, so let's get started out. Let's go back way back when. We need to go back to when you were like really little. Did you want to be an agent?
It's kind of hard to say. My family's in real estate, so
Okay.
or my stepfather. So we have the two brokerages. So it was I wanted to, but my dad said no. I don't want you to do that. That's not going to be a path that you pursue.
Yeah.
So you grew up with it
know,
around you, so that's
yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather started the business. My mother is an agent. My dad's an agent. I am.
yeah.
That's so you wanted to be an agent when you were growing up. So this is a good one. Let's see. So when did you go to your first listing appointment? When you were, because you probably went with somebody else. When were you like 5?
No, but it's funny. So one of the first listing appointment that I actually went on was with my mom, and I didn't understand why I was helping with all of this stuff. I wasn't going to get paid for it. So I'm like, isn't this like my listing too? She's like, no, this is not. Like, there's a lot more that's going to go into it aside from me getting these documents signed. Before we were sending out a ton of DocuSign stuff and things like that, she had physical copies of all the documents, and we're meeting with the sellers, and I do things a little bit different now. But I could not wrap my brain around, like, I thought like I should be paid hourly, like some sort of compensation should be coming my way for all of this time that I had invested in this transaction. But like, I didn't do anything, so I didn't deserve it.
How old were you when that happened?
That was at the beginning, like when I first jumped into real estate. So that was 7-8 years ago or something like that. Like, I think that's how long I've been in that.
Nice. So
I know these numbers. I don't know these. I'm not a numbers guy. If you ask me any questions about numbers, I don't know them.
All right. So we'll ask you all the number questions then, right?
Great.
Yeah.
Great.
So you
sounds like a good plan.
So how old were you when you got your license? Or I guess was it like 7 years ago? You said. I guess we shouldn't go over the age.
I think I just turned 38, 39. Man, see, numbers.
How old are you currently?
I just turned 39.
Isn't it funny how that
I think
number,
the milestone?
Yeah.
As when I was 21, I remember that. When I was 19, I remember that.
Yep.
And then there's all these other ones that just sort of blend together.
Yeah.
So 7 years ago. So
sweet, that's exciting.
7 years ago, I think.
So you said your dad, he didn't want you to
follow.
follow.
Is it exciting? He did not want me to get involved in real estate.
What did he want you to do?
I'm pulling out my slides here. He wanted me. I was in marketing before, so I was doing marketing for. Let's see, does it have it out there? Doesn't. What? I was doing marketing for a medical company, so I was making advertisements for them. And he wanted me to just sort of stick with that because it was nice and stable. You had a predictable income. There was no like fluctuations in money. So he liked that idea for me.
Okay.
But things change.
So, the marketing, that kind of ties into real estate, though. Did you find that helpful that you started out with the marketing?
Yeah. So what happened for me was, I was doing the marketing for the medical company, and they said that they would transition me into sales. So I was going to become a salesperson, but he said, you're not going to be able to. You can't be a salesperson and wear like Chuck Taylors and jeans and stuff like that's not a thing. I'm like, all right, and then he decided to take away my commission for the advertisements I was making. So they were paying me a commission on the business that was coming in for the ads. So he said, I'm taking away the commission and you're no longer eligible for a sales position. So I was like, I am going to get my real estate license. So that's what I did. And then I just started making all my own ads for myself. So I started making my own Facebook ads, my own Google stuff. And like, I was like, I'm going to put this to work for myself. And so it was a lot of like Craigslist stuff. And at that time, like that worked, like you could post, get a list of homes for free. And people were like, holy crap, this is amazing.
I don't have to pay for it?
So I was like, what? It's free? Like, yeah, it's also on Zillow. So, so I would do that. And then I was sitting at my desk at that job and I was texting people back like, hey, I'm really busy today. I can't show you any houses until after 5. I think the first closing I went to was my like 17th or 18th transaction. So like I was having other people I was having my mom go to closings because I couldn't be there. So it was different. It was very different.
Yeah. How long was that period between like you getting your license to when you kind of switched to kind of doing it full time? How long did you work at doing the marketing stuff and have your license? Oh wait, that's a numbers game again.
It is a numbers question, and what's crazy is it felt like forever, but it really wasn't. It was like, it was less than a year, but it felt because as anyone watching this, and anybody is a real estate agent, like when you're first starting out, you're showing houses, you're doing a lot of like buyer agent type work, and nothing. It's not immediate gratification. You don't just like show a house and then you get a paycheck for going to show that house. It's, you're showing a bunch of homes and then somebody could say, we decided to move to Kentucky. And like, oh, that's great. Like, that's fantastic for you. But like, there goes, a bunch of my life out the window. So it's just a weird thing. So when I was first starting out, it felt like forever. I remember my wife saying like, you are working nonstop, because I'd go to work at the medical company. I'd be there from 7 or 8 in the morning until whenever. That's another number. And then I'd get off, and then I would go and show houses. So I was never home. Like it was crazy. So it felt like forever. But I felt like I could see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like I knew, I saw the top agent in our office at the time. She was making, a few $100,000 a year. And I'm like, wow, like that's like, I know that it's possible. So like, I'm just going to keep doing this because I feel like I have the right intention. So like my intention was to help a lot of people. And I was like, I'm just going to keep doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know you do. I know like a lot of your YouTube videos. Those definitely help out a lot of people. There's a lot of such good information you're doing on there that's so helpful. I didn't see when you started those, but did you start those videos back when you were at the beginning, or did you just kind of start doing them?
So if you do any sort of YouTube reconnaissance on me, I recently like opened back up my original like OG YouTube videos that I started when I first started in real estate. I was like wearing a suit jacket, and I'm like, like I've got all the answers. Those didn't do too well because I didn't understand YouTube. I didn't understand the YouTube algorithm. I didn't understand keyword research and everything like that. I was just like blindly like, people are gonna love this, and I was pumping out like a few videos, and then I did a couple videos here and there. Where I really got into it was at the beginning of quarantine. I was like, I've got time on my hands. When I get something, I like geek out about it and go sort of all in. So I researched everything from like set up to, like how to design thumbnails and like click-through ratios and keywords and like what people are looking for. And like, and then I built this whole tier system on like how people would initially find my videos and then how they'd trickle in through each one. So that just started. So those videos, like the good ones, those are recent. The old ones were just sort of blind shots in the dark with no real. I opened them up and people watch them now, and now my channel's monetized, so like I get like a sense for them.
Yeah, they can watch them all they want now, right?
Yeah, keep them on loop.
Yeah. Keep them going. Play them all night long.
Yeah.
Just lay them in bed, leave the phone upside down. I'm just kidding.
It's so weird. It's so weird to like look back on those because I have like a clean shaved face. Like it's not.
Yeah.
It is weird.
Yeah. Once you figure out how those work, it's like then it really helps. Cause I've been actually looking into a lot, like, cause we're going to do some more like that. We're thinking of kind of doing that same thing. And I've kind of been studying that same thing to figure out how to pretty much get everything to work.
One of the best, I don't know if you're into, I love audiobooks. So whenever I drive a lot,
Yeah.
so I like to listen to podcasts and audiobooks.
Mm-hmm.
But one of my favorite books for this type of thing is They Ask, You Answer. It's an amazing, write it down. It's all about content marketing. So it's going against what you should actually create as far as content goes, and by answering all the questions that you wouldn't even think that people would have.
Yeah.
So like for you guys, it'd be, like you teach people, like teach real estate agents how to take their own pictures.
Yeah.
And then they'll end up just hiring.
Yeah.
I mean, like that's the avenue that this book takes.
Mm-hmm.
Is like break down every single part of the process. And then once they get into it, they're like, screw this, I'm not going to do this. I mean, like I tried to be a video editor a while. Like I'm watching all sorts of videos on video editing. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hire the best video editor I can find because I don't want to do it. Like, I am not, this is not my jam. This is not my deal. So I hired an amazing video editor. He edits for channels that have millions of subscribers. So now real estate agents keep asking, like, who is he?
I can't give you that.
Like, I'll help you with a lot of things, but like, I don't want to take his time away from me. Like, that's
he's got to do that
sources,
for me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So besides videos, what kind of other marketing do you do? Or when you started out, what did you do and what do you do now? Because I'm sure that's changed over the years.
Well, in the beginning, it was a lot of like quick Craigslist postings.
Mm-hmm.
So I would take like an office listing and I would say like, whatever, get more information here. Then I got really into Facebook marketing. So Facebook marketing like consumed my brain. And I really liked that I had the ability to hone in on individual neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. So I went after a lot of neighborhoods and certain areas, and I can't do that anymore. I mean, if you guys are doing any marketing, you could, and now you can't.
You mean you can't
go after high dollar?
You can't target that 15. You can't target that neighborhood in a 15-mile range.
15-mile radius. 15-mile radius. Anyone 18 and up? You gotta be kidding me. Like that's a whole lot to process, and you try to niche down as much as you can in the actual ads. You can call out your target audience, which only works to like some degree, because in the beginning, I realized that a lot of my conversations were happening with the significant other. So it was happening with the wife. Like 9 times out of 10, I'd have the couple contact me, and then it would be like, talk to my wife, talk to my girlfriend, whatever. So then I started targeting the girlfriend, targeting the wife. Mm-hmm. And that was amazing for me and for business. And Facebook, no, can't do that anymore. Like that's not allowed. Now you have to just target their kids.
Yep.
18-year-old kids who live there, they have to look at your ads too. So I've always, like you guys keep me talking about this stuff. Like
I love this stuff.
But I what?
I said I love this stuff. This is my favorite part. Marketing is like my favorite part of the whole thing.
My whole thing was always, I wanted to run my business as lean as possible. And I always told other agents that, like, I have friends that are agents who spend thousands on Zillow every month. And they have high numbers, but they're not, to me, they're not running lean. They have a ton of money going out. They have a ton of time invested in all leads, where I'm not, like, I would rather be super targeted, super lean. And then I got really big into automation. So like automating text follow-up and everything whenever my leads would come in. Mm-hmm. And then I worked with Commissions Inc., who's a big company, and I helped them write a lot of the scripts for automated lead response. I ain't anything for that. So they flew me in a few times, and a lot of the stuff that they use is my old stuff. So, that worked really well for me for a while, but that can only work for so long. Like,
right.
Now everyone's using it, so it doesn't really So Zillow, or not Zillow, I never really, I pay just off on Zillow, and this is like a little Zillow hack. You can pay like the bare minimum. Like I pay like $18 a month.
Wow, that's really
like
good.
Some obscure section of Southfield, Michigan. So I have a small chunk of Southfield, Michigan, just so that I can have premier agent status, so that I could run coming soons.
Okay.
Because I like that had been the thing that I'd been doing for a long time. But I like spending a bunch of money on Zillow or Realtor.com or any of those sites like that. To me, running lean when I know that I could have mass quantity leads coming in and just work them quickly and efficiently.
Yeah, and they're actually like,
so,
yeah, and they're actually like yours instead of trying to spread them out between a bunch of people. Where it's just like, yeah, they can just keep coming back to my content on YouTube. It's like, I'm right here.
Well, the YouTube thing. So YouTube thing is a totally different animal. And
oh yeah.
It's the people who come in from YouTube are unlike any other lead source I've ever had. They consume all of my content, and then they contact me and they're just like, you're my guy.
You're
like,
ready to go.
Like I don't want to talk to anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
You're my person. And so it's a definite mind shift. It's weird. I mean, I love it. It's
yeah.
fantastic.
So
I mean, because they already know my personality. Like there's no surprises. Like when I pop out looking like this, like, they don't expect a guy in a suit to go and show them homes. So it works out well. So I love YouTube. YouTube is my favorite.
Yeah.
I like it. I like it.
Back to the suit. When did you stop wearing it? You said you were wearing a suit in the beginning for your videos. When did that transition?
So, man, I remember pulling up to a house. It was $40,000. I'll never forget. It was a $40,000 home in Oak Park, $40,000 but 7 years ago. And I'm walking to this house in this pull-on suit and hard bottom dress shoes. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, this is absolutely ridiculous. Like, I look way overdressed for this situation. And from that point on, I started fading out the suit. Like I would wear it to closings because I heard somebody make a comment like, look at this guy showing up to a closing in jeans. Like this was another agent saying it about another agent.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I don't want to be that guy. And then like, no, I'm definitely that guy. Like I'm 1000% that guy. Because like I feel like if you do your job really well, if you really help your buyers or sellers, like they don't care.
Yeah.
Like I know that there are a lot of agents out there that will fight me about this, and they'll say like, the way you look, your first impression. My first impression a lot of times is on YouTube, so they know what they're getting into.
Yeah,
they know even when they see me, because a lot of something we totally skipped and we can get back to is a lot of my business comes from and has come from Instagram and Instagram stories.
Okay.
So that has been a huge source of sphere business, but like people know, like they know who I am. So like there's no like if I was walking around in a t-shirt and then I showed up in a full suit,
like who are you?
This does not match.
So your Instagram story from today has you wearing jeans. Why are you wearing a suit now?
Yeah, right. Like it changed real quick. I'm a firm. I don't know who said it. I don't know if it's Noah Berger. Might have been. An author said your vibe attracts your trust. So I figured out pretty quickly that the people that I was attracting through just like being me were people who I wanted to work with. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't like me, like I probably don't want to work with you. Like I don't care what kind of money it is. Like it's not worth it to me to be unhappy. Yeah. Like working with somebody just they want me in a suit. Like I'm uncomfortable. Like I don't feel like myself. I can't be self. Like forget it. Like you couldn't pay me enough.
Yeah.
So
that's awesome.
So I don't know. That's a numbers thing. I don't know when I stopped wearing a suit. Not very long into my career that I sort of try to phase it out. I wear it to like awards. Like I'll wear it because it's kind of like you have to.
Yeah.
I do that. I don't wear it to closings. Or
the casual look is so genuine. It shows you.
Yeah. We're gonna.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Okay.
I
Let's.
agree 100%.
What was some kind of advice that you got like when you started out that it might be wear your suit, but what was some advice you got way back when you started that kind of stuck with you that may or may not be still using?
That I may or may not be asleep.
Yeah, was there any advice from your family when you first started out that they used and they were like, okay, well, if you do this, maybe this will help you?
Or was it just don't go to real estate?
I think so there's a few bits of advice that I would hear, but it didn't make sense in the beginning. So
Okay.
I remember agents telling me, these are like old timey agents, telling me that I don't know how they worded it, but basically like be nice to the other agent, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yes, you need to work for your client. You have to work really hard for your client, make sure that everything's smoothly. But then to like be nice to the person on the other side of the transaction, because, and I didn't understand that at the time. Like it was like, I wasn't like combative or anything, but like I really wanted to like, I'd fire off emails if I was angry about something back to the other agent. I was kind of a jerk a few times. I feel really about it. But now I understand it, because as a new agent, you don't want to get the reputation like you're the jerk to work with, the know-it-all, hot shot jerk. Like you want, especially in these multiple offer situations, like you want to be the agent. People are like, he's trustworthy, he's a good guy. Like he's not going to like come back after the inspection with like a giant, CVS receipt full of like repair requests. Like you to be like a nice person to everyone throughout. So I think that's something that I sort of overlooked in the very beginning. Like I said, it didn't make sense. I mean, like, shouldn't I just be fighting for my clients all the time? And they're like, yeah.
What was the turning point for that advice to make sense?
I had a deal, I can deal with an agent who was terrible.
Yeah.
Who I knew was a terrible human. And I was explaining it to my sellers. I was like, well, this guy, not a good guy. Like I know what he's going to do. I know he's going to get this offer accepted here. He's going to have his inspection. He's going to like blow a gasket, and he's going to come in like $20,000, $30,000 under. Like I could see that happening. And so I said, we could go with this offer, but like this is, and I'm like, oh, like light bulb went off. I'm like, I get it.
That's what they meant. Yeah.
I stand. Like that's what they meant.
Yeah.
Like, if you just treat everyone fairly, and everything will be all right. So I get it now. So that would be one of the best pieces of advice, I think.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. Yeah. Let's see here.
What about advice that you would give out to a new agent? Would you give out that same advice, or would you throw in, I know with the pandemic, things have kind of shifted with real estate a little bit. So what advice would you give to a new agent today?
It's so hard. Like I see all the information that's out there for new agents. So like I see what's being like to new agents, and there's a lot of agents. Like I've never cold called, done any cold calling in my career.
Okay.
But there's some agents who like that's their life. Like they will call neighborhoods, and they'll call for sale by owners, and they'll call expired listings, and like that's never been my thing. But so I see agents being taught like that's how you get business, and like that's a way to get business. And then I see agents that like say like you have to spend a bunch of money on like Zillow or whatever. Yeah, like that works too. And then you can you can invest your time in like knowledge. So like that's sort of like the way I've approached things, like learning more and more and more. Yeah. And like you have to pick your lane, like figure out like what's going to work for you. So it's difficult because I see agents coming into the business and they think that business is just going to be handed to them, like with no strings attached, which like it might be out there a little bit, but that's pretty rare. But I think that as an agent, you have to figure out what you're comfortable doing. Like, are you okay with going around a neighborhood and door knocking? Like that probably isn't okay with COVID.
Right.
that you can call everybody, but like, then you're that guy.
Yep.
You're that person who calls everybody. Like,
Yep.
I don't know.
Yep. Yeah,
So I think that you should, I think that agents should focus on what they're strong at, like
Yeah.
what their strong suits are. You have to like sit down. Like for me, I know that numbers are not my thing, right?
Yep.
Like we've established, I'm not good with numbers. I'm also not good with paperwork.
Okay.
So right at my, I think I was at like 3 or 4 million in sales. This is years ago. And I was like, I need to hire somebody for paperwork because it's terrible. Like I'm not good with paperwork done. So that was one of the first I tell everybody, as soon as you can, outsource the things that you're not good at. Like I tried to take my own photos. Like I have see that?
Yeah.
So I bought that camera and that whole setup there, which I don't use for videos. I use this one with a wide angle lens, and like I've got some gear. And I tried to take photos for a while. And I'm like, this is not my thing. Like I'm not good. Like I can make the ads, I can do a lot of stuff, but like I'm not going to spend any more time, like, because that would just consume me, because we've established this. Like I get like really into whatever I'm going to do. So I'd say figure out what you're not good at, outsource it as soon as possible. Like get it off your plate so you can focus on what you're good at.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So true though. So true.
Yeah. So when you first started out, I know you have a lot of family. Was there like a transaction in the beginning or over time that was like really stuck out to you? Like the most memorable? It can be good or bad. Is there any one that really just stuck out to you?
No.
Did it involve numbers?
You would think that there would be. I remember having I did, so like the weirdest thing I had, there was a swamp behind the property. So like back to a swamp.
Yeah.
With a train track through the swamp.
Okay.
And like, I was like, like I saw the house on paper. Like I was like, this is amazing. Like this is the deal. Like I'm so excited. And I pull up to the house and I'm like, you're kidding me. Like it's got a swamp and it has a train track. The neighbor's talking about how his dog drowned in the swamp. And
oh no.
My God. Like how no one's ever gonna buy this.
Did that family buy that house with the neighbors talking about?
Well, I was listing it.
Okay.
So I was the listing agent. And I pulled up to it like excited because it was in this big neighborhood, looked fantastic. And I get there, like, and then I'm like, crap, I didn't really like look at like the satellite imagery of the home. I'm like, never again. So like now, every time somebody contacts me about listing, I'm looking up every bit of the home, because if they're like, it's on a real lot, I'm like, yeah, but is it on a really big lot with a swamp and a train track?
Do you do the drive-by?
That sucks. A lot of times it is just satellite imagery. I just look there first, and then we have a conversation about the house.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Okay, so what are some of your goals in the next 5 years? Is it like keep building your YouTube channel, or what other kind of big goals you got?
Well, like as a sales goal, sales is 23 million plus yearly. So like that's, I don't know why 23 million. Like whenever I set these goals, I end up going. So it's like, all right, let's go higher this time.
Yeah.
So as a sales goal, 23 million plus yearly. I'm going to do that. Figure it out. And then as far as the YouTube channel thing, I want to continue to grow that. I don't have like a number in mind. I keep, because the monetization YouTube is not really my end goal for that channel, because like it's generated millions in sales for me, like directly millions, and it's only been a few months. So I know that monetarily it can more money than a highly watched YouTube channel would. So I don't really have any number goals.
Back to those numbers.
I don't have any number goals for that. I just want to do more business. I think that's going to happen. I know it's going to happen.
Especially if it's already worked right now, and you said in the last couple of months. that it's been working out, so you know it's going to just keep going. So that works out.
The interesting thing about, and I'll probably have to bring somebody on to help me work with some of the buyers, and like that's something I never wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I never wanted to have any sort of buyer agent or anything, because the number one Century21 agent in the state of Michigan is Nancy Robinson. She's based out of Royal Oak or Northville now, but she makes around like $900,000 a year, like $900-ish thousand a year in gross commission, and it's just her. Like it's not a team. Like most agents at that level have a giant team.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, if she can do it, I can do it. But I feel like it's something that might sort of need to happen because these videos I've made, because they're so spread out. If you look at the different areas,
Mm-hmm.
it's hard to divide, like it's hard to split my time between
all the areas,
12 different cities.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and that's it's starting to become overwhelming. Like I'm pointing at my phone here. It's starting to get overwhelming at the number of places people want me to go and look. So all at the same time, like everybody's interested in like all sorts of different areas. I'm like, ooh.
Yeah. You're gonna have to hurry up and get them on there and then start branding them.
Right. I know.
Speaking
I don't
of
know what to, like, and it's what?
I was just gonna say, speaking of being kind of overwhelmed, you're a parent now too. So how do you balance the home life and work with so much going on?
I have a 14-year-old.
Okay.
I have a 10-year-old.
Okay.
And I have a 0-year-old.
Right.
So
you got a lot going on.
So it's just always been sort of a, like a balance thing. Like I work from home as much as possible. So and now with COVID, the kids are home. So it's like we see each other too much.
Do they go to the
like
to
no
the listings with you at all?
No. Well, that's years ago they would come to like a few showings and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Most of my buyers are cool with that. Like, but with COVID and everything,
right,
I'm not bringing them anywhere.
Right.
But that definitely has happened where they've come along to inspections or buyer just showings or whatever, and they liked it. Now, like the 14-year-old, he doesn't want to do anything with me. Like, he stays up in his room, doesn't talk to me.
Yeah.
He thinks it's cool I'm on YouTube though, so that's something.
You got something going for you. That's awesome though.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Thing, right?
I'm sure you got a lot more. Well, we got one more question for you,
yeah.
Taylor.
All
right, you ready for it? It's a numbers question. Are you sure?
No, I don't know. Then no.
No,
I'm not. I'm telling you right now.
Do you think a hot dog is a sandwich?
I do.
Yeah?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Why?
And I have, and I can, because a hot dog bun is basically like a little sub bun, right? And
yeah.
Like, and if you can call a sub a sandwich, then why shouldn't the tube meat be,
Right?
I think it's a sandwich.
Okay. We don't have the answer. We just like to see everyone's opinion on it.
Right.
Yep. So is there anything else?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there anything else you want to share with everyone that's listening before we go?
No, if you have any questions.
So how can they get a hold of you, and how can they where can they find you? How can they find you on YouTube?
You can just search my name, Paul Wolfert. You can search youtube.com/Paul Wolfert, or youtube.com/movingmi, movingmi.com. They're facebook.com/movingmi. Like anything movingmi, you're gonna find. Like I own it.
Awesome.
Are these working?
All right.
There we go.
Oh, there we go. I think they're working. Should we tell them?
Mine keeps falling. It doesn't like my voice.
What do we got to tell them?
Subscribe.
Subscribe. What do we got to point at? Hey, I think there's a subscription button. Like
it might be there.
It might be right there too.
Somewhere.
Find
it. It's red.
Yeah, and it's blue. It's green. I don't really know.
It's a color.
This mic isn't even attached. Did you plug these in? Well, I guess.
I wonder if they can hear us.
Yeah, I wonder if they hear us. Well, we should probably tell them If they can hear us, we should probably tell them also give us a 5-star review for listening on Apple. That'd be cool.
5 stars, guys.
Share it with everybody they can think of.
We won't take 4 stars.
I mean, Taylor, I don't even think these are on. I mean,
I don't think this is working.
This is not working.
Yeah.